Hey, besties. So, some concerns came up in a video lately, in the comments of a video about scouring. And it led me to think we should do some experiments with scouring. In particular, worries about felting. So, in order to felt, we need three things: heat, soap, agitation. So, these three things together will cause felting. So, heat and soap won't cause agitation because that's how we scour our fleece. But if you add agitation, then it will felt. So does just soap and agitation work? Well, that's pretty much the basis of wet felting. So what about just heat and agitation with no soap in it? So here's our questions. So 1, heat and agitation. 2, soap and agitation. 3, we know cold to hot doesn't cause agitation, or at least it shouldn't. We know that hot to cold will cause felting. Sorry, cold to hot, hot to cold, felting. Okay. But does hot to cold felt without soap? Because we know that hot to cold with the soap will felt. I'm having problems with my words today. So I have some merino roving here. And we all know that merino is very prone to felting as it's a fine fiber. This is not superwash. This is normal merino wool roving. So I'm going to take a few little batches, like a handful, and we're going to just start playing around and figure out what we can do confidently to not cause felting and what will. Because, I mean, some of this we know, like soap and agitation will felt. Hot to cold will felt, but will it felt without soap? I don't know. So let's line up our experiments. So first, we need a cold to hot, no soap. Then we're going to do a cold with soap to hot. Then we're going to do a hot with no soap to cold. And then, of course, just as a control, we're going to do a hot with soap to cold. And then I want to try hot and agitation, but no soap. Soap. And then, of course, to see our control, hot with soap and agitation. I think that's a place to start. All right, I'm going to get some containers together and some chunks, and we're going to do some completely unhinged experiments. And I'm doing it so you don't have to and be, heart attacky over it. It'll be all right. I'm only using a little bit. So I'll use that much of each. So we're going to start with the cold to hot, no soap with soap. I'm going to get some water heating and a couple containers, and we're going to give this a go. So I have 2 cups here, both cold water, and I'm just going to add some Dawn washing up liquid, dish soap as we call it over here. Just going to give it a good squeeze. Now, when you're scouring with dish liquid, they tell you to add enough to make the water feel slippery. So that's not enough. We're going to add more. And I know that sounds ridiculous, but when you feel it, you will know. So the water is now slippery. So I'm going to take my merino samples, dunk them into the cold water. Now you can see how the soap one instantly sinks, whereas the no soap takes a little longer to soak up that water. All right, now we're going to let them soak while the water boils, and I'll be back in a minute. It just occurred to me that we should have cold just dropped into the hot water, cold with soap just dropped into the hot water, and then we should also do it with agitation. So I've added that. This is going to be my little sample cloth to track everything. So I'm going to get another couple little samples into the cold water. I had no idea this was going to take like so many options when I started this. But that'll be okay. Okay, the water is boiling. Just gonna shut that off. Now this is in all capitals Pyrex, so hopefully this doesn't explode. Eek. No, it's good. Okay. So first, those are the wrong tongs. Should put those over there. We're going to take, this is our cold water sample. I'm just going to squeeze the water out and we're just going to plunge it into the hot water. No agitation. We're just plunging it straight in. And it's, I'd say it's staying pretty fluffy. Woo, that's warm. Just want to kind of squeeze some of the water out. No agitation. I'm just pressing. And there's our first sample. Okay. Get off there. All right, now we're going to try our cold with soap. Just going to squeeze the water out. Here we go, into the hot water. Now I could let it set, but basically it's the thermal shock that causes the causes the felting. I have such a hard time doing that. I keep saying agitation instead of felting. So if you hear me mess up, it's just me getting my words confused. I blame menopause. All right, there we go. So I'm going to just put that in a towel and squeeze out the water. Still looks pretty good. Oh, maybe not. Okay, we'll plop that there. Now we need, there's soap in there. So let's do cold soap agitation, and then we'll put fresh water in to just do cold to hot with agitation. Oh, you can't say I'm not agitating this, guys. I'm like a dishwasher, like a washing machine. Sloosh, 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 sloosh. All right, let's see how it's doing. Squeeze the water out. All right, so this was cold soap. Ooh. And agitation. So definitely don't do that. Okay, let's get some fresh hot water. And then we're going to go cold to hot with agitation, but no soap, and see what happens. This one I'm curious about. All right, here we go. Squeeze that cold water out, plop it in, and turn into a washing machine. I don't know how long I should agitate this for, but this one felt it up pretty quick, so. All right, let's see how it, it's warm. Grab my towel, press that water out, and you know what? It's looking all right. Oh, maybe not. No, it felt it here, I think. All right, so these ones, I mean, this one is definitely felted. So you can see that this fiber will felt. Cold to hot with soap, no agitation. It seems fine. And obviously cold to hot, no issues whatsoever. Okay, so we're gonna let those dry and we'll go on to our next test. So we did cold to hot soap. So now we wanna go hot with no soap to cold. So let's just take a little chunk of fiber, dump it in our hot water, and let that sit for a minute while I get these samples taken care of. Okay, so first we are doing hot to cold, no soap. It's pretty cold. Let's make it colder. All right, we got our fresh cold water. And this is, I'd say, well soaked. Just gonna move this over. Bring this in closer. And got this, I got the phone plugged in because it was dead, of course. All right, let's take this out of the hot water. Yikes! All right, straight into the cold. No agitation. I'm just dropping it into the cold water. And let's see what happens. Now these are coming with the caveat of the longer it soaks, the hotter it gets, so that might influence it. But for these quick experiments, then we'll want to do a hot to cold with agitation. Okay, get in there. With agitation. Okay. All right, let's get this one out. Squeeze the water out. We just went from hot to cold. Let's see what happens. You know what? When there's no soap in it, it's perfectly fine. I did not expect that. Okay. All right. All right. See, this is why we experiment, because, you know, I'm curious. Let's get another chunk in there and we'll just go from hot into the cold soapy water. All right, let's get this one out. Put it into the cold. Now this one's without agitation, so let's get our washing machine going here. Now this isn't like super, super hot. It would be about tap water hot, usually about the temperature I would wash with Power Scour. All right, hot to cold with agitation. Squeeze some of that water out. Now we're getting some felting. Okay, interesting. Interesting. Okay, we're going to go hot to cold with soap. Get it out of the hot water. Hi, Chihuahua. So this is hot to cold with soap. No agitation. I'm having fun with this. It's like little science experiments. All right, let's get it out of the soapy water. This is no agitation. It is full of soap because it hasn't been rinsed. But there's also no felting. So now if we take this and we rinse it, it's still fine. All right. So let's try this. And with agitation. I like the squeak of the tongs. I'm seriously amused by the smallest things. Okay. We got some serious bubbles forming. All right, get that out. And this one looks like it's felted a little bit. Oh yeah, definitely it's felted down here. Okay, I'm just gonna give that a quick rinse. Get some of that soap out of there. All right. So that's that one. Now, we're going to try the extremes here. I'm going to get some water to like boil until my kettle shuts off. And then we're going to have, excuse me, then we're going to have ice water. And we're going to see how much the thermal shock affects it and if it instantly felts. Okay, stand by. Kettle's heating. Here's some ice. It's the coldest water I could get from the tap. And then we're going to add some ice cubes. Let's see if we can get the whole tray in there. Let's make this really icy water. Little known fact, if your hands are wet, the ice is going to stick to you. As a Canadian, I already knew that. There we go. Whole tray of ice. I've got 2 chunks here. We can do one with agitation, one without if needed. But I'm just getting them pre-soaking in the hot water from the previous experiment, so it'll already be wet and warm to start. So we're going to make sure it gets really good and hot. And then really good and cold. So the kettle has reached a boil, but it hasn't shut off yet. But I'm going to get this water out of here. Whew, that one was still warm. All right. So I have 2 little bunches of roving. Kettle's still boiling, hasn't shut off yet. You can hear that. It's got big bubbles going up. Still boiling. I'm not taking it till it shuts off, so it's going to be uber hot. Ooh, let's see if I can turn this a bit so you can see the bubbles. There we go. Finally shut down. That's boiling water. I don't think it gets much hotter than that. I'm just waiting for the bubbles to stop so I don't burn out my kettle. All right, here we go. Stand back in case my cup shatters. All right. Now, we're going to get our samples in there. Now again, remember this is just strictly hot water, no soap, and then we're going to go to ice water. I'm going to let these soak for a couple of minutes just to make sure they're really, really hot and up to temperature. Okay, I'll be back. Okay, it's been 5 minutes. Now, if you're delicate or if this stresses you out, you might want to look away. We're going to take this out of this boiling hot water. I am going to squeeze some of that water out though. And we're going to dump it right into the ice water. That's right, I just did that. You can't tell me this water's not cold. There's still ice in it. I'm not going to agitate. I'm just going to let it sit for a minute. And we're going to see if we got instant felting from the thermal shock. Because this is so hot. And we went straight to the cold. All right, let's see if I can fish it out of there. Oh, it's cold for sure. Woo! I got ice flying everywhere. Squeeze that out. Squeeze some of the water out. Just got to get the ice cube off the floor. Safety first. All right, let's have a look. It feels a bit felted, but not as bad as I expected, honestly. Huh. All right. We'll set that to the side. Now, this one might be the most disturbing of all. So, if you're delicate, look away. Into the cold and agitate. Oh, what am I even doing? Oh, I'm breaking hearts across the internet. Oh, this is chaos on a new level. And that's real ice. You can hear that. I did that. Okay, let's pull her out. Yeah, this is felted. At least it feels very felted. Okay, let's have a look. Again, not as bad as I thought it would be. I mean, I can definitely feel that it has felted a bit. But it's really not as bad as I thought it would be. I'm actually quite surprised. Okay. So, let's zoom out. Okay. So we got our ice water, boiling water. Let's go from ice water to boiling water just for fun. Oh, this will be our cold water in agitation. Oh, that's bold. Cold water in agitation don't do nothing. Oh my God, that's cold. Okay. And into the boiling. We're doing the temperature extremes here. Oh my goodness, that was really, really, really cold. But you can see we went from ice water to extremely hot water. And there's no felting there. So you are always safe going from cold to hot as long as you don't agitate. So even if you wanted to, okay, let's add some soap to our cold water. Oh, that's so cold. It's funny how I can take the heat easier than I can take the cold. I don't know if that's an age thing or what. Oh, that hurts. Oof. I was also a cook for a long time, so you learn how to take the heat. Okay. And then we're going to go, come off of there. I love how roving can make you feel like a weakling because you pull and it doesn't shift. Then you punch yourself in the face when it lets go. All right. I'm not going to be dumb and stick my hand in there this time. This is soapy cold water. So we're going to find out if you do a soapy cold soak before you scour your wool, if that's going to cause felting. That's still pretty hot. All right, here we go. A soapy cold soak. Straight into the hot water. Woo. This is insanity. What am I doing? Ah! Okay. Sometimes I amuse myself. With no agitation now. Remember that. If you add agitation to this at this point, it's going to felt. As you can tell by my squeaky tongs. I don't know why. I like that sound. Okay. Let's pull her out. Let me just squeeze some of that water out so we can have a look. All right, so this was cold soapy water, ice cold soapy water into hot. There's no felting in there. None whatsoever. It's perfectly fine. So there you go. As long as you always go cold to hot with no agitation, you're fine. So I'm going to let those samples dry because you can't really see how bad it is until they dry. So we'll let those dry and we'll have a look at them again and we'll do a wrap-up video. So I'll see you in a bit. It is way too nice a day to do this inside, so we're outside in the catio and we're going to go over our results. So first here we have... These are all my little notes on the samples. So they go like this. So this one is hot to cold with soap, but no agitation. So we can see there's no felting there. I gotta say, I'm super surprised about this. There is, however, veggie matter. Because that should have felted. I don't know why it didn't, possibly because there was no agitation, but as you can see, that's perfectly fluffy, like perfectly fluffy. So if the temperature isn't exactly the same, I'd say there's not a whole lot to worry about. So this is hot to cold with soap and with agitation, and that definitely has some felting. Again, I'm surprised it's not more than there is. Whoops, there goes my piece of paper. But there is some felting. Not a lot, but there is felting. So that's confirmed. I should have a stapler so I could staple these. Maybe that's what I'll do later. I'll smash them down there so they're secured. Okay, next we have these are the no soap samples. So this is hot to cold with no soap, and there's no felting. Did I say agitation instead of felting again? I don't know. I get those words confused. I blame it on menopause. Anyways, this is hot to cold, no soap. Absolutely no felting. None. This is all smooth draft. Absolutely no felting. Again, surprised. Hot to cold, should have felt it. So this is hot to cold, no soap, but with agitation. There is just the littlest bit of felting. I'd say more fulling than felting. It's still very open, but there is little bits in there that there weren't in the other sample. But still, hot to cold, no soap, with agitation, still survived. All right, so that's hot to cold with soap, hot to cold with agitation. Just roll these right on up in there. Put that to the side where the wind won't blow it. What are our next samples? Okay, these are fun. So these are the big samples I did. So this was boiling hot to ice cold. You saw the ice in the water. So this is boiling hot to ice cold, but no agitation. And again, I'm very surprised. You see that draft? I would say there is the tiniest bit of fulling. There's a couple spots that are just a little sort of sticky. But overall, it's fine. And that was boiling hot to ice cold. Boiling hot. Can I say it again? Boiling hot to ice cold. But no soap. Because the soap, for sure, it would have felt it. Okay, so this is boiling hot to ice cold, and then we agitated it. So overall, again, it looks a little fulled. And that may just be from the disarray from the agitation. But when we draft it out, again, just a little bit sticky, but there's no felting there. None. It's nice. See here, you can see it a bit. But it's not a hard felt at all. It's just basically a little bit of fulling. I gotta say, I'm actually quite surprised by these results and kind of excited about it. All right, what do we got here? So this one, oh, these are the boiling hot to ice cold with soap. This one, boiling hot to ice cold with soap, but no agitation. You see that? Do you see that? There's like a little bit of fulling. And that's it. Like, honestly, I am absolutely stunned by these results. Okay. So, boiling hot to ice cold with soap with agitation. Okay. There is some spots that are a little more felted, but overall, like, what is even happening? I swear to you, this is not Superwash Merino. I don't get it. All of these things should have felted, and they're not. Maybe it's just because I did the samples too small. I don't know. All right, these are the last of the samples. Okay, so this is cold soak into hot. No soap. Obviously, no issues. This is cold soak with soap into hot. And again, a little bit of cotting. But honestly, nothing major. Then we had, this is the last one. So this is cold into hot with agitation. Oh, that one actually has some felting into it. Actually has quite a bit of felting into it. Well, that's surprising. That's the first one we've had where there's been a substantial amount of felting. And this is cold soap, cold to hot with soap and agitation. And definitely felting there. Okay, so this one, before it, was cold to hot with agitation. Which is really funny to me, because usually cold to hot is not a problem. You'd think the hot to cold would be worse, but this one is worse. And then the cold to hot with soap and agitation is very felted. Huh. Okay. Well, I don't know what we make of all these results, guys. They kind of surprised me, especially the hot to cold, the boiling hot to ice cold. With soap and agitation. This one just surprised me so much. I still don't understand how that did not felt. Because according to the rules of everything, that should have felted. So, for initial results, I would say interesting, but perhaps we should do it on a larger scale. But for now, those are the results I got. I mean, I don't know what else to say. Except that maybe we shouldn't be so afraid when scouring. I think I will take some more of that merino and I'll make some thinner strips of roving, and we'll do some more temperature things, but maybe we'll let it soak for the full 15 minutes. I'm really curious about the boiling hot to ice cold though, because I am shocked that that did not instantly felt. So maybe I'll set up an experiment on a larger scale where we put it in the boiling water for 15 minutes. I'll make an ice bath and we can dump it from that straight into the ice bath and see what happens. Food for thought. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed that chaotic little experiment, guys. And thanks for joining me. I'll see you in the next one. Dr. Chaos, out.